G'day everyone, Pete from PV Media Productions. Veronica won't be joining us this morning. She's not feeling very well, so her body is giving her a lot of trouble, so I'm allowing her to sleep in. Oh, that sounds bad, me allowing her to sleep in. What I mean is I'm not going to disturb her. So, sounds like a bossy would say, allowing her to sleep in. No, she's not well, and I'm not going to disturb her. So I'll do this on my own this week. This is episode 12. Episode 11 was about pattern making. We're going to call that pattern making part 1, and we'll call this pattern making part 2. Now there'll probably be others to follow this one, so we'll just call them part 3, part 4, etc., as far as we need to go, because this has become quite involved, this project. And while it's only a hobby, for some of us, it isn't for others. But for the majority of us, this is great fun. We're getting involved in the automotive industry. Firstly, I need to correct a few things from episode 11. I said that Gary was making parts. Gary's the pattern maker, of course, and I'm as an assistant. And when I say I'm an assistant, I'm an unqualified assistant. I may be qualified in working with timber because I'm a cabinet maker. I'm a carpenter joiner cabinet maker. That's actually my trade. And I do love working with wood. I don't particularly like the building industry, and I don't particularly like the cabinet making industry either. But I do like working with solid timber, and I get to do that when I'm assisting Gary with what he's doing. So I enjoy that. I like carving as well. I like solid timber products and solid timber furniture. I love making that stuff. I don't like being on somebody else's clock in the furniture industry, and that's why I left that trade. Anyway, this is a hobby, so I don't mind. We're not on anybody's clock. We do this as we see fit. We enjoy doing it. It's a big project, but we love big projects. It keeps us occupied. It keeps the mind going. You need to have, and this is, I remember that this whole series is about my and Veronica's CP, her cerebral palsy, and my CM disease. That's cerebral microangiopathy. That's CM disease for short, because it's hard to remember that word, microangiopathy. Although I'm getting used to it now, but it's taken me a while, let me tell you. And this is the problem with short-term memory loss. You need to keep reinforcing, and going over things in order to remember them. But the problem is too that I do find that I am losing common words, and you'll see me drift off every now and again, and I'll try to cut a lot of that out, but at the same time I'm trying to show you what this is all about in my journey, so I don't want to cut too much of it out. So I cut out the really, really bad bits that are just going to, you'll be going, oh, he stopped. Always, that's it, that's the end of the video. No. So anyway, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. I wanted to correct something. It's not Porsche that we were making these parts for. These patterns are actually for an Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale. That's what they're for. Very, very beautiful car. Absolutely beautiful. And these are replicas that are being built. This is not the original vehicle. Don't get me wrong. We're not building this thing for a motor industry in Italy or anything like that. This is a restoration company here in Brisbane, Australia. He makes, it's actually McKiernan Restoration, and he does classic car restoration and recreation and maintenance. And so we keep ourselves occupied when they have a concept for a particular thing and they need bits and pieces for it. I go along to Gary and say, Gary, are you interested in doing any of this for us and giving us a hand? And because we're all retired, we do this out of love. And so, we give a hand where we can. If we're unable to, well, then they source other people to do that. As you'll see, that we're not making all the parts and that sort of thing. Other people are involved. Some of them are the same as us. They do this as a hobby, using their trade skills so that they keep their minds active in their retirement. And others are not retired yet, and so they do it for a living. Anyway, I'm getting right off track over here. What I wanted to say was, go to the McKernan Restoration. I'll actually put a link below to McKernan's Facebook page and the Alpha 33 Stradale. If you use that hashtag, you'll actually find bits and pieces from everybody around the world who works on anything to do with these Alpha Stradales. So yeah, I hope that clarifies that. So I wanted to get that out of the way. So this week, I worked on body part 3. So that's the second half of the subframe that attaches to the nose piece, which I did in the previous week, which was session 10. Love being involved in this type of thing, and love keeping my hand in it and keeping my hands on the job. So I love doing that. But also what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you some of the gear that I use for recording these and doing my stuff. And I thought that the first thing I would show you is my audio recorder. This gives me constant sound because cameras, I use different cameras, and you can see it's recording at the moment. You see the little light is on. And this is just a windsock that goes over it. It'll be making a terrible noise now. So that's one thing. Now, when I'm riding my bike and I'm on site in the workshop and things like that, I'm not going to take expensive cameras into a workshop that I'm working in a dusty environment. So what I do, or where I can drop them or hurt them, so I take less expensive cameras like this little one over here. This is the little cover for it, and it's a FeiyuTech, and it's a little, just a handy cam or a pocket cam, they call it. And it's a fantastic little camera. It does great imagery and that sort of thing, you know. So I'll actually include a little bit of imagery in it. So I'll turn it on. Let's see, that's it turning on there. I'm trying to keep it so that you can actually see the screen and my mouth at the same time. So I have to get my audio right here. Okay, now I've got this on a -3 exposure. I've done the same thing with this camera over here, and I've got it on whole screen, of course. So I'm now recording with this little camera. I can actually turn it around with 3 clicks, but it's a fantastic little piece. But I'll be showing you with that the camera that I'm actually using to record this whole session. Okay, so I love Sony, so those are Sonys. I've got my Sony A99, and I've got a few Sonys here. So I've got a 6400, A6400, and I've got this little one over here, which is, I can't remember what it is now. It's a 10. It's an F10, I think it's called. I'll have to look at that later and put it in. I'll put the text up, you know, what it is. And I'll put a list of some of the equipment that I'm using down below. And I'll actually do that on a regular basis. So I'll make that part of a template and keep that in there. So anyway, I'm going to turn this around. That now turns around and it's recording me. So I'll put a little bit of this recording in. So I'll put it in just over here probably, so that you can see what's going on, so that you can see what quality that this little camera takes. It's really, really fantastic. And the sound is not bad either, but as I said, I use my one sound source and I just sync these cameras to it, and it sounds good. I also have another microphone that I use. I'll just turn that around. Oops, I've got to do 3. That's in pan mode. And as you can see, I've got my computer on next to me. I'm on the site that I was talking to you about. And this is my microphone over here that I use my voiceovers. So I use that for all my voiceovers. And this is a demonstration of the voiceover. Anyway, that's that. So let me turn this off. Okay, now the parts that we're working on, first of all, with Gary, with the pattern making, are those that have drop joints. That is that he needs to make two parts. He needs to make the actual part and he needs to make a stabilizer for it, for the foundry. So it's a drop joint or a dummy joint. Is what they sometimes call. So it depends what its purpose is as to what it's called. But now he has to make these in order to be able to machine the second side of the job, of the pattern. So if the pattern's got a curve in it or a bend or an angle in it, as all of these parts have had, they've had extrusions and that sort of thing, then he needs to make, because you can't just lay it down to machine the other side. It needs to be absolutely flat and level. So you have to make a part that it'll fit into, like a jigsaw puzzle. So that it'll fit on there really nicely. The two will meld together nicely, and you can then machine the other half with its angles, etc. As you will see, so we're doing parts 1, 2, 3, and then 8 and 9. And then we'll go on from there. But these are the ones with drop joints. So, or dummy joints, call them as you will, but these are to stabilize it for the packing. And I will also include part 2 has gone to the foundry and it has been cast, and so I will show you what that looks like as well. Yeah, and so that's really about it for this week. I'm going camping, and so unfortunately it looks as though it's going to be wet the whole time that we're out camping. We're going to do a little bit of photography, but more than likely we're going to be sitting around playing board games and the like, but it's a good time to fellowship with a few people. I'm going with my Bible study group, so I'll be fellowshipping with them, and it's going to be fantastic. We're only going for 2 nights. Okay, now guys, remember, if you like what you see, share this with everybody that you can on cross social media, and hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring the bell. So share it. So that it gets to the people who are really interested in this type of thing, this type of lifestyle. As we get older, everybody is going to have an issue with memory. We all do. It's the level of that issue that is of concern. We all get forgetful. We all go, where did I put my phone? Where did I put my glasses? Has anybody seen my glasses? Talking about glasses, you'll notice that these are different. These are my computer glasses. Every step of this journey that we've had through our lives, God has been with us. He has always ensured that we could get through, and He's always provided for us. He's always come through in the end. He's always answered prayer. Not always the answers that we want, but He's always given us the answers. He's always managed to help us get through it. And so I can't say enough about that. Anyway, that's it for this week. So I'm going to say bye for now. Take care. God bless.